100% fake free. This is the Robbie Crew Show, and we're live from my garage. And famous people are gonna sit right there. Nice. 90% of all single-use plastic goes to landfill or ends up in our oceans. UNsmother Nature. Let her breathe. So we're on episode 3 of the Robbie Crew Show. I'm glad we're still on air. Thank you very much for everybody that has subscribed so far. If you haven't yet, please click on the subscribe button at the bottom. It's just underneath the little video. But this week we've got a very dear friend of mine on the show, the fittest 41-year-old that I've ever met, in cricket at least. He also plays semi-professional golf, full-time, I will have you know. He plays about 100 rounds of golf a year. I'm probably starting to sound pretty jealous, but either way, I see his Porsche's just arrived in the back as well. Mr. Henry Davids, welcome to the show, sir. Proud to have you here.
Hello, Robbie. Thanks for having me. It's been a long time coming, actually. Obviously, with all the bubbles that to be in, I could enjoy your show.
That is true. The last time we wanted to get you on the show, you went down to Durban. It was T20, T20. No, it was actually Potch, wasn't it?
It was Potch, yeah.
It was Potch. How are those bubbles? How weird is it?
It's tough initially, in the beginning. Obviously, it's something you're not used to. You know, we went there, got tested, stayed in a room for 3 days without coming out. People knocking into all your breakfast here, lunches here, dinners here. So for 3 days we had to isolate as well. So then we got out, played the first game. I missed the first game because I had a little cough. And then 7 days.
Stay away.
Yeah, 7 days, after 5 tests in 7 days, I was a positive case of COVID. And I had to go.
And then that was it. That was the end of your tournament.
That was the end of that of the 50 over tournament.
How was COVID for you? How was that experience?
It was tough. I had 2 days where I struggled to breathe. I was obviously on the phone with the doctor where I had to go buy myself an oximeter or something, so just to test your oxygen levels.
Wow.
So it was 95, 94, 93, 91. So then I was starting to panic. You know, phoned them. He said, "Listen, if you go under 90, you got to go." So, so I didn't tell my wife, "Listen, yeah, I'm struggling," because I still have to.
We're too proud, and us men.
Yeah, you want to be strong. You know, you don't want to show, "Look, yeah, I'm in trouble." Yeah. So I was planning. Okay, I'm gonna run around the house, jump in the car, and go to hospital. But luckily, look, it's almost like something just clicked by day 2, and I said, "Listen, stuff this thing," and I got better. So I think it plays with your emotions a lot.
So mentally, that's what I was, is it surely, I mean, in a time like this, I thought to myself, I haven't had it yet. My mom has had it, my sister's had it, a lot of people close to me have had it. I mean, you, one of my really good friends, now I found out you've also had it. But how do you deal with that stuff mentally? I mean, surely that affects you.
Like a lot of things run through your mind. You see people dying all over the show, you know, and initially they said, no, if you're fit, you're strong, you'll be fine.
And the fittest man I know.
And then 2 days I was like, yo, you talk and then you have to, after 3-4 words, you got to stop and take a deep breath, you know, not even too deep because everything is just a rush, but it feels like a rush. And then just something, like you say, mentally, I think mentally it's probably the biggest hurdle you need to overcome and say, like, you need to take control, yeah. And I phoned my wife on the phone, she's next door, but she said, "Listen, stuff this thing, I'm over it." And then something just kicked in and I got better, but luckily, God, obviously with the grace of God and all those things, you know, being people supporting you, and look, it's tough. My cousin, his oxygen dropped to 83, so I don't want to even imagine what that feels like.
How tough that should be.
With oxygen tanks and all those things, so it's scary. And I think obviously you got to be vigilant. You need to respect this thing to a certain extent as well, because it is real. No,
100%. It's and I mean, when I say fittest, seriously, like, this is one of the fittest men that I know. If he wasn't wearing a shirt, I wouldn't be on this interview, put it that way. But you're a family man, and I think that also obviously shot straight to the heart when the time that you had it. But let's get off of that, because I mean, I'm well over this lockdown. I'm well over this whole thing. I mean, I want to be positive. You are a family man, surrounded by girls at home. Is that how you grew up? Did you grow up, you know, being taught those kinds of things?
I didn't have girls around me when I grew up. When we grew up, I have a brother, and we've mostly cousins, and everyone grew up in our house basically. Because I think we're a little bit better off than the sister's kids and the brother's kids, you know. So most of our family members grew up with us, which was unbelievable, you know, because there's always people around you. I think there's 2 girls, like the cousins in our family. And then I was also, you know, you chuffed to grow up, looking forward to have kids, got married. Oh, cricketer, it's going to be a cricketer. So I didn't even know golf when we got married, basically. So another cricketer. So my missus got pregnant, we moved to Pretoria. And I was so excited. She still gets mad with me, basically. So he got to the guy and he checked. So I don't know what's happening. So I saw 2 things, and I can't even remember. It's like, yo, it's a boy.
You're just excited, it's a boy, yeah.
And I'm like, doctor, it's a boy.
Yeah.
And he looks at me like, and I couldn't speak. For the rest of the day, I was
just shocked. Oh, no. What's happening?
But they are blessing. The second time around, exactly the same thing, same procedure, same shock.
Come on, it has to be a boy. Yeah.
But look, they are blessing. They're my life, basically. And it's something that has, like I said, it's a blessing. And I live for my kids, my wife, you know. It just gives you a different perspective of life. You know, being a professional sportsman, you can get a duck and get 100 when you get home. Those kids are exactly the same. You know, so that just gives you, like I said, just gives you a different perspective of life and how you grow as a human being, and it's just unbelievable.
You say perspective, is that something that kids bring as well? Like, I mean, I feel I've got a 2.5-year-old. I mean, that's my reason. That's, you know, all I live for. I mean, we struggled. So having any kid, just a healthy kid, I'm happy. But that puts perspective, I mean, in all fields. And you're a professional sportsman? 100%.
Like you say, I think most of the time kids grow, sportsmen go through their careers, it's cricket, it's golf, they just focus on one thing. And for me, luckily early on my career, not early on, so halfway through my career, I realized that cricket is just, it's not everything, and there's things more important than cricket. Your relationship with your wife, your kids, God, those things, you know, like I said, this gives you a different perspective, and it's just a bigger drive then, because if you fail on a day, it's not the end of the world, you know. Your kid, like you say, you're going to get home, your kid's going to smile. They're just going to put that different emotion back into where it should be. And I think for all sportsmen, if you can have a balance where your sport is not everything, I think your career will skyrocket quicker than normally when it's everything and you fail. The guys nowadays struggle for 3 weeks, you know, because they can't get over the failure.
It's like Kieran Reid with the World Cup. He got back to the hotel room and he had a letter from his daughter or daughters, and they said, you know, Daddy, good luck, whatever. So obviously the letters arrived late. It was, you know, after the game. And he said that just puts it in perspective. You know, losing a World Cup is one thing, but I'd rather be known as the world's best dad than be known as, you know, a rugby player for any reason.
It's unbelievable. A very similar story for me now. Like, I went to the Caribbean, playing the CPL, it's a T20 tournament, so I was based in St. Lucia. So this was the first time I was going to be away from home for Father's Day. And the kids gave me a little package, a little Father's Day package present basically, and said, listen, only on Father's Day I can open it. So now I'm lying on the beach making a video call first. Daddy, did you open? And I simply forgot, you know, it's Father's Day. I'm lying here on the beach, white sand, warm water. It's the most beautiful.
Because every day is Women's Day in that house, yeah.
So now I go, it's Father's Day, go back to the room, open a thing, and it's my Father's Day package presents now. So now I have a video call again. So I see them, and I put the phone down. I had tears in my eyes, I was broken.
Wow.
And 10 minutes later, so the missus calls and I just keep putting the phone down. I couldn't speak. So 5-10 minutes later, I phoned them back and said, listen, I'm done. So like, what do you mean you're done? This is now week 2 in the tournament. I have 4 weeks to go because it's a 6-week tournament, the T20 competition. Week 2, I phoned, listen, I'm done. So he's like, what do you mean you're done? I said, this is the last time me traveling for cricket. And just then, I was like, no, I'm done traveling. It's for a cricket player. It's unbelievable. You travel the world, you see the most beautiful places for free.
You get paid to do it.
You get paid for it, and then who would imagine you'd be lying on probably the most beautiful place that I've ever been to and said, okay, I'm done traveling. I want to be with my family. And I think that's the importance of family for me. And like you said, just they mold you into the human being and the person that you eventually want to be at the end of the day.
They do. Also, well, I don't know if it would have changed if you had a boy or if you had a girl, but I mean, I think being a hero to them, you know, just because of anything in life, that's all I want to be. I just want to be like that little kid's hero, you know. So
like you say, something.
That's all person I want to impress.
It's almost to a certain extent embarrassing. Like my kids are at school now, and obviously they ask you who your father is, and your kids and phones. And this the other day I was actually, because I help at the school with some cricket now, like twice a week or once a week if I have time. And the kids came with my daughter because she had swimming. I was like, are you Chris's dad? I said, yes. So you on Google?
You made it.
You on Google? So you don't want to say yes, like yes. Can I have a signature? Can I have a photo? Like, oh, dear.
But that is so cute, though.
It is so
I
cute.
mean, and they're proud as punch, though. I mean, I've seen them, I know them. They are incredible. Your family's incredible. So, surrounded by girls, what's on the radio for you? What's on the iPod? What are you forced to listen to?
I listen to everything. My daughters, they're massive into music. They both dance. They love dancing. So I was like, when we're in the car, we're driving to a shop or something, someone comes on and they start singing. It's like, where do you hear this thing?
How do you know that song?
Words.
Yeah.
He's like, Daddy, I listened to the song once, I know the words. Like, okay.
That's kids these days as well.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Look, some of the music I don't approve of, but I mean the fact that they got more world knowledge than us because they've got these platforms to listen.
It's just the access that they've got.
Exactly.
Which we didn't have. And I think that's the difference between the kids of today and the kid. And when we grew up, I compare a lot to sports these days because there's so many distractions in sport, like the access the guys have. That's why the focus is not where it's supposed to be because of the access of the distractions that there is.
Oh, that's true. And also, you grew up near Stellenbosch. Where? Penil, one of the most important letters in it. Here we go. Penil.
Yeah. No, it's a
Tell me, where is that?
It's between Stellenbosch and Franschhoek. For all the wine lovers, where Boschenal is, if you come out of Boschenal, like people obviously will know Boschenal. So if you come out, you look to the left, there's a mountain there, Simonsberg Mountain. On the foot of that mountain, it's the most beautiful place for me in the world because the only time when I realized that it's so beautiful is when I moved to Pretoria.
The shift up north, you have to, yeah.
No, but the thing is, when you stay in a place you're so used to everything, you don't see the beauty of it, you know. But when you leave it, you just see, like when I drive, like we drive to Cape Town a lot, obviously for holidays. And as you come up the road through Boschenal, because there's trees on both sides, in the summer it's beautiful. So you go through and there's vineyards, there's orchards, there's everything. You see the mountains, like, I'm home.
Yeah.
It's a home, always stay home, you know. It's beautiful. Everyone knows everyone, and that's how I grew up. I grew up where if I walk down the street and I don't greet someone next to me, I'll get a clap, you know. And
community.
And that's where I think these days that's where what our kids miss because I'm not saying that they're disrespecting others, but they don't have that where if there's an elder walking past you need to greet, you know. That's the respect that you grow up with, and I think that's just something for me. Like you've met my kids, they'll come and hug you.
100%.
If I greet you, they'll come and hug you.
Friendliest, the friendliest.
You know? So for me, that's a big thing with respecting people as older than you. Or not only older, everyone.
Everyone actually,
like
100%.
For me, it's sad, you know, to see how kids grow up and disrespecting not only.
No, it is, and they're not on the same level as somebody that's been around for longer. You can just have respect. It costs nothing. It costs absolutely nothing. And you got to walk up and down here with my daughter. She greets everyone, blowing kisses, loving life.
The thing is, like, what I've realized over the years, people just get more respect for you.
It's how it is,
and it's simple.
It's small things. You don't even have to smile while you do it, but you're gonna probably smile because it's a good thing to do. Just go out and greet someone this week. Like, don't be a doers, you know. That's it. Yeah. And then Henry, I wanted to ask, the growing up years, how was that? Do you remember going back? Was it just cricket in the streets, and was it always cricket?
No, it was cricket. We played soccer, but soccer was just to kick the other guy.
Oh yeah, just to fight.
No skill.
It was just to fight. Yeah, that's it.
Rugby we played in tar roads, in dusty roads, where if you can grab someone by the collar and swing him so that you hear his feet clap on the floor, you know.
If he's got grass birds everywhere, you win.
Tennis. We played tennis. Back then it was Ivan Lendl and Boris Becker.
Oh, the best.
We made tennis bats. We used to go steal some of those big planks and made a tennis bat that big. You know, cricket bats, exactly the same thing. We used to play all different types of sport, which kids don't do. And I think your skill levels grow by that. Nowadays it's fingers,
Oh no, that's all it is. Esports. Not that I have a problem with esports, but get out, see some sunlight, chuck a ball at someone, see if you can catch it.
And I grew up by the hand. There was no naughty corners. When my missus, like, we grew up and I think the naughty corner thing just came in. I said, well, this is not going to happen. Because I'm thinking about myself. If my dad put me in a naughty corner, I would laugh at him. Not so they can hear, but I would sit there chuckling, look what he's doing.
Not the way in which he did it. You didn't laugh after that. You
know, it's one proper smack and you won't do it again, and that's how you learn. I'm not saying you must go beat up your kids. I must, like, you need to be firm. With my kids, it's a firm no, and then it's no. You know, they had a couple of not beatings, a couple of raps.
Yeah, but it's net the stoute gas.
Then you know, there's there's boundaries.
You grew up fine. Sorry, I'm just saying.
Thank
Like,
you.
there's nothing wrong
No,
with
for
this
me,
gentleman here.
Like
so.
I said, for me, growing up, and when I was 18, 17, 18, I thought, yo, I'm being mishandled here. But I was naughty. I was a naughty shit, basically.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. You know, from like getting into fights, coming out of school. I threw one of my dad's friend's kid with a stone one day, accidentally.
Okay.
And you know, you forget about it. You're light, was nice. So now you forget about it. You get home. Dad gets home at after 6 from work. His friend phones me, listening. You're light. He did this again. Yo. And I forgot what I did. Got a hiding again. Next day at school again.
Yeah.
So you know.
But so you were a rebel as a teenager.
No,
when did it end
naughty.
for you? Because I'm not saying it's not like okay, you're still a naughty guy, but not you're the good kind of naughty, you know, not the vicious kind or the savage.
I was never like a rebel. I was just a normal, like you get into fights. Because you need to, like, when I grew up, you need to stand up for yourself.
Prove yourself.
Yeah. You know, with rugby, I was never the biggest, but I was quick. I was athletic, basically. So some kids will try to walk over you, and early on I said, okay, this is not going to happen. At school, when you get initiated, because some guys get overboard. And at school, so I remember one of the matrics, I was probably standing 6, grade 12, and grade 8 now. And I was one of the first coloured kids that went to Model C school back then. That was in 1994, 95. So that was the first time.
That was a big step. That
massive.
Yeah.
You know, for a coloured guy, I come from a coloured community, 4,000 people. We didn't
talk to me, please.
We didn't see black people. We didn't see white people.
That was it. Around you, that was how it was.
I saw white people maybe when you go to a shop, but like it's something you don't know. Now I go to school with white people, you know, colours and white people as well. So obviously with the amalgamation of the schools. And I was, my first year I was in shock basically.
What the hell?
Yeah, what the hell, what's happening? I didn't know how to communicate standard 7 now, or standard 6, anyone standard 6 in the initiation comes, but other guys, that's not part of the initiation group. They also want their bit, you know. And I knew, look here, if you're gonna not stand up, you're gonna come second for a whole year.
And that's where it forced you,
That's where it forced me, coming from a streetwise place basically. And I remember this one guy grabbed me by the collar and just grabbed my pocket. You see, and he jumped.
Yeah.
It didn't happen again.
Yeah.
It didn't happen again, you know. And I didn't cause a lot of nonsense at school. For me, it was sport. It was an academic school. I don't know what my parents thought. Sending me to academic school. And from standard 6, it was.
How did you do at school though? Were you right?
I was okay.
So you passed.
I passed. I failed standard 8 because I was in the cricket field the whole year. Basically,
that was it. That was your love,
cricket, athletics, rugby,
sport.
It's just sport, basically. Not that I loved school, but I didn't put the time in my academics that I've put into my sport, basically. I went to school in the winter with 2 top bags: my school bag, my cricket bag, and my rugby bag, because I had coaching in the winter with Omar Henry back in the day. In the winter, the whole winter. So our rugby training started at 4, so I would go to Marty's, and that's from 2 till 3, get back, rugby training, and go.
Jeez, all in one day.
All in one. And
every afternoon, no problem.
I was in matric. I played first team rugby for my club team, which was in the Super League in Western Province, which was good rugby. So I played in the morning, 11 o'clock.
What position?
Fly off.
Oh, I thought so. Yeah, of course. It's like the quarterback. It's like, fly off, of course.
So I played school rugby for my school in the morning, 11 o'clock kickoff, and we only had 35 minutes, 30 minutes off. Then in the afternoon I could play club rugby.
Madness, 2 games in one day, no problem.
I loved it. And I was 19 out of school, 20 got a contract with Boland, and I was told to stop playing rugby. But I used to, like, we had a balcony and a wall, so I think my dad knew that I was running away to go play rugby in the winter because I wasn't allowed to play rugby. I
say obviously for injuries and this and that.
I was contracted by Boland basically. So look, if you get an injury, you're going to be in trouble. So I used to throw my talk bag over the wall, and this was normal clothes. That's my blazer for the club. It's in there, everything nicely packed. My mum obviously knew.
She had a scallop.
Yeah. So I jumped over the wall, and one day I played against my old school teacher. He played a game. He ran. He probably want to show, look, I'm still your teacher. So he went with his knee into my back. I don't think there was no real harm intended, basically, you know. And then this slipped in my back. So you feel like you paralyzed.
Yeah, it's done.
So I'm lying there, waiting for the ambulance to come. Obviously the guys are scared. They put those Tweeman soccer, silver things. And put
Yeah,
it
yeah,
over
the space blankets.
Yeah, the space blankets.
Yeah,
So I'm lying
the
there.
long slop, yeah.
Everyone is leaving, the game is done.
Yeah.
Everyone is basically going to the wall down at the bottom for braai or something. I'm lying there waiting for the ambulance. Ambulance coming. My dad's not at the ground, obviously.
Yeah.
He knew. So now he got phoned, or my mom got phoned, they come down. He walks to me, so I'm lying there, and I knew, oh shit, I'm in trouble here.
Yeah.
He walks, he looks down at me, and he said some harsh words,
Yeah.
and walked away.
And that was it.
Yeah. My brother had to come and fetch me to hospital.
Yeah.
He said no.
So cricket after school, was that something that you were going to pursue professionally?
Yeah.
Was that not, studying wasn't one of them, it was like, get a degree.
No, it wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of them. I was, probably when I was 16, I said, okay, I'm going to play my rugby, I'm going to play, do athletics at school, but cricket, this is what I want to do. And I never knew that you can make a living out of it. I just thought, I just want to play cricket, because you see the first game on TV, I want to be there. And I remember I went to watch Boland the one day at the Dani Craven Stadium, because Boland didn't have a cricket field. You know, and all my mates went for signatures, and I went, and I said, no. I took a cap, one of my favorite caps, and I threw it away, because I got a signature, and I said, no. And they were like, what are you doing? I said, no, I want people to get my signature one day.
Sure.
And I was probably 16, 17. Yeah. I remember it's a black cap, black and yellow with a yellow peak, because it stands out.
Yeah.
I got someone's, the signature, and I said, no, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I want someone else to come and ask. And it wasn't being arrogant, it was just like something that motivates me.
And a mental click.
And a mental click, basically. For me, from a young age where it was like, people not knock you down, they doubt you basically. For me, that was my biggest motivation. They say, if they say I can't, I'm going to prove you wrong. And I think that is what drove me to play. I've been playing for 21 years. This is probably the first time on social media or live that I've been to tell someone that this is my last time retiring after the season. So it's been 21 years, it's been a blessing, it's been, I cannot say how grateful I am for what I've achieved in this game and what it has meant for me, my family, friends, people. I meet people like you. That's the cricket.
That's it.
We've had great times then, Cape Town
100%.
final.
Yeah, that's we were actually on that note. Flip. I just got to share. I do love this man for a lot of reasons, but we went down to Cape Town. We played at Newlands. It was against the Cape Cobras Momentum final, the One Day Cup final, and we had our backs against the ropes. It was. I remember standing next to Graham Smith up in the president's suite. I still had to wear a neck. He said nice shirt and whatever. And I was standing there next to him and I was going, we're going to win. We're going to win. And he's obviously like, he couldn't be bothered. He's like former Cape Cobra or whatever, like, screw it. And we won that game. And I remember singing Law Slappy in the changing room afterwards. Wow. Like, how are those moments? Is that what you always live for?
It is unbelievable. Like you say, Law Slappy. Sure. It's the guys last year, they changed the song. We got it back to Law Slappy because it's not because it's Afrikaans. It's just because it's part of Titles cricket, you know. The rich history it's got, but like you say, memories like that, you can't. You can't erase it. It's something like you say, you live for it. And I've been blessed because I've when I moved to the Titans in 2010, I've been part of probably a 10-year period where I don't think any team in South Africa has been as successful as what we've been.
That's a fact.
10-year period, you know.
That's a fact.
And it's something as a sports or any sports, you can go to whatever. It doesn't happen a lot. You'll be very privileged if it happens to you once, and it happened to me twice. With the Cobras for 4 or 5 years, we've been dominating cricket in South Africa. Now with the Titans, obviously with this 10-year period, we basically won everything. We bossed cricket in South Africa. You know, we played in a final, we scored. Cheapest 400 and plenty. Yeah, 402 many. Yeah. And you need for a final when you see the game is won after you've batted, the other team must still go bat. You can see emotions. I'm good with reading body language, and I could see while we were batting. I can remember myself and Aiden were batting. We had a 200-run partnership, opening partnership.
Jeez, I remember that.
Now these guys are broken. And I said, it's impossible for us to lose this game. So moments like that, you know, where it's nice to it will be nice to look back, not to gloat about it, but to appreciate it, because it doesn't happen often, you know. Like, you know, when you play round of golf where you don't even know what you're doing, and that was probably 10 years where we've been playing cricket like that, and we showcased skills and took the game basically, domestic cricket specifically, to a different level. I think you did. It was like it, and the Titans, and the amount of names that you guys played with, like Yo's had a lacquer team, eh? We had the Morkel brothers at a stage also, We had a team once, the 14-man squad or the 30-man squad for a final. I can't even remember which final it was. There's only one guy in that squad that didn't play for South Africa.
You see.
And that was Malusi Saboto, and he deserved. He was over the years. He's been unbelievably successful, but just wrong place, wrong time. You know.
True.
And if you look at a team, I've got that thing that I was supposed to announce. It's scary. If you look at the names there, Dale Steyn, AB de Villiers, Albie Morkel.
Ridiculous.
Oh,
it carries on. Henry Davids carries on for days, for days.
20 years of play, so imagine.
True. And do you still keep in touch with the guys? I mean, when after they leave, after they're done, you guys are still close mates.
Yeah, we still played golf with Albie the other day. He says he needs to play more golf. He told his wife, I'm going to play more golf. So
but he is ridiculous. When that oak's in top form with golf, he's good. He's
said,
really
listen,
good.
I'm going to put my foot down. I'm going to play more golf. I
Yeah.
said, oh.
Tell your wife that. Yeah. You did make that rule a long time ago because you are you play about 100 rounds of golf a year. That's what you aim for.
The last 3 years probably 100 rounds of golf. Yeah, this year I must catch up because COVID obviously and in the bubbles we couldn't. I've played after March. I've only played 6 rounds of golf this year.
No, that's ridiculous for you.
It is.
We'll catch up. We'll catch
yeah,
up.
Definitely. Obviously with the regulations, the bubbles we've been in.
You're not allowed to spend time with other people before,
Like we went Durban. You know, normally Durban is like when there's cricket, the weather's terrible.
Usually it just rains.
We were in the bubble now, like a month ago in Durban, the best weather ever.
And you couldn't even go to the beach.
No, we drove past the beach.
And it's seldom that happens.
I think the guys are, can't we just go, just drive past it, just feel the sand. But it's no wind, 30 degrees. Unbelievable.
Oh, and you're playing cricket all your off days.
And
you're not doing anything. No, it's
when
not going to happen again. No. You can go back there. It's going to work. What do you feel was your pinnacle? Like, I say pinnacle, but what to you would be the highlight of your career? Or is it a bunch? Is it just memories? Is it just all of it that
you know? Like people, for me, probably the biggest one is playing cricket for so long. 21 years is massive. For me, it's.
People don't play cricket till they're 40. Not the way professionally that you do. That's a fact.
Normally, like for me, when I grew up, I said, when I got into national academies, 20, 21 years old, they asked how long you want to play. I said, if I play for 10 years, 33, 34.
Happy.
I'm 41, finishing now. For me, probably that's the biggest achievement. Not the biggest, it's a massive achievement for me. Playing for South Africa, being man of the series, my very first series for South Africa.
I remember.
Leading the Titans, winning trophies, being in the Cobras, you know, when coming from Boland, it's a smaller unit. So when we went from 12 teams to 6 teams, I got a contract as well. For me, that was a massive achievement. Playing at Newlands, I got my T2000 there of 41 balls at Newlands Cricket Ground. It was unbelievable. It's things I looked at the video after that and I was like, yo, what did I do there?
Yeah. Who is this guy?
I couldn't remember what he was doing. You know, it's one of those times where
it's just slot.
It just happened. Yeah. And then the biggest, I was 25, 26. And then you try to do it again because you think, okay, that's what you did. You can't, but that's how sport is. You know, if you can't control your emotions, you will not get to that levels again. And for me, luckily, I got to that same levels of performance-wise for the Titans as well, where probably my best season ever was a cup. I can't remember. 2017-16, I scored 800 runs in 6 games.
Jeez.
Something like that.
That's top scores, really.
Yeah.
For that season.
For one day comp. So, and I missed a couple of games with injury. I remember before the semi-final.
Good for the rest,
Yeah, before the semi-final, I tore my hamstring. And we had 10 days before the final. And I told Bosh, listen, I am playing. I was in an oxygen chamber.
Fix me.
I was in an oxygen chamber every day. I drove to our doc's place. His brother had those oxygen chambers.
Yes,
every day there. Rehab every day.
Just to get it fixed.
No, I told him. No one was going to stop me to play in that final. And the book was written, but I got 100 in the final.
And that's that, eh? That's that decided. It's just those moments in your life that you just decided mentally, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Show and tell, before we chat about life after cricket. This is what Henry brought along. It's not to leave here because my daughter will just break it more. See, there's a crack in it.
Yeah.
Tell me.
This is the Paul Rocks won the last Mzansi
Super League. That's right. Yeah.
Paul.
But you played a couple of seasons for them. It was two seasons.
Two seasons. We played both, and the last one we won with the Paul Rocks being from Boland. It was again just probably written in the skies, whatever you call it, you know. And I was man of the match in the final as well. Yeah. So that script was meant to be. This was probably one of the nicest bats that I've ever had. I'm the only one at D TNP Cricket has got his own range.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
HD19 range, and I remember with this bat, I hit a shot off Chris Morris at PE, off the back foot, wide over mid-off.
And it's good hitting.
Oh.
It's good hitting. He's a fast man.
And I looked down, I was like, no. You know, like with equipment, you grow an attachment. And I've had a very, very nice attachment with this, and I was upset, and he was like,
oh, no. He broke his bat, yes. Oh, but it's good competition, that it is.
Oh, and obviously, like,
how many bats do you break? Is it often or not?
Look at the bats that we get is performance bats.
Oh, okay.
So they're soft, they're not, they're very dry, so they go nicely, you know. So they do break. I don't break a lot of bats. I look after them bats very nice. So the nice ones, I don't bat in the nets with. Yeah. I'll ask for the manufacturers to make me a harder one, so they don't break as quickly. So make me a harder one, very similar to the ones that I use in the game, like weight-wise, shape-wise, and I bat with that in the nets. The nice ones, the day before a game, I'll go hit 20 balls. Just to feel it, you know, just to get the feel again, and then
and then you get play with it.
That's last fairly long.
Oh, all right. And competition, you were on a competitive note there. You were still speaking about it. Yeah. How is it playing against each other locally, like when you play that?
Because we've got banter, you know. At the Titans, we've been privileged with the squad. I think probably like with the Mzansi League, only 2 guys didn't get contracts all over the country with other teams, and that's because of the success that we've had over the years and the quality that we've got, basically, you know. So playing against Chris Morris is because he gets upset when you get.
Yeah, he does.
A guy like Heino, we've got. There's just all the guys we've got great, but the competitive thing is always going to be there. If you look at Tabra Shamjan and AB, you know, Shamo just gets under his skin because of his character,
and he just does
tries to get a hold of him, basically, you know. So I remember in the final 2 years ago, Shamo dropped him on 12. I was like, oh dear, Shamo. He got 50 and luckily he got out. So yeah, but like the competitive, it's always going to be there.
It's going to be there with you guys. That's how it works. I don't know if you walked in and saw the, obviously, I'm not plastic. Yeah. And what does that remind you of? If you see that, if you read that sign, what do you think? What comes to mind?
Not fake.
I like it.
That's the first thing that I see. I'm not plastic. It's for me. I'm not fake at the end of the day. So, and it's human nature. For me, human is massive. You know, for us as human beings. To just get that humane factor out there more often, we'll all be better people. And I always say, I think everyone in South Africa has watched, what is the show with the Rugby World Cup? What's it called?
Chasing the Sun.
Chasing the Sun.
I cried every episode.
It is unbelievable. I've watched it 3 times, basically, all the episodes 3 times. It is unbelievable. I think if we use that as a little Bible almost, you know, we structure things out, how you see people, putting yourself in other people's shoes, basically, we will. It's you can't not be a better person after that.
100%.
You know, and I think for us, especially where we come from, we need to watch it a couple of times, you know, and try to use some of it. I'm not saying change your whole life, you know, just some of it, and we'll be better after that, basically.
I love that. Unfiltered, just fake free. That's what we believe in. That's actually one of our slogans, is 100% fake free. But the funny thing is that you say that human and nature, it's just that dot kind of connects the two. So, and that's almost what we want, because I mean, you've got daughters. We need to look after this place, you know, we need to look after this world. And I think taking it back to basics and going, well, we don't need all this plastic. We don't need a lot of the things that we are, you know, sending back to landfill and going into our oceans and killing turtles and things like that, you know. So no straws, no plastic straws. I'm not even saying paper straws. Don't use any straws. For our brandy and cokes, we don't use any straws. Yeah, we don't. I want to end with this, but I also want to know, you still only do 1 cheat meal in a week, eh? Or not? Or do you do a few more?
The guys get upset with me because I tell them I train to eat. So if I want to have a chocolate, I'll have a chocolate. If I want to have chips, I'll have a chip. But I do train a lot, basically every day, just to have that little luxury now and then.
Will you keep it going? And if you didn't, or if you missed it earlier, this is your last year of cricket. So,
yes. I'm retiring at the end of the season. It's probably a month left. Yeah.
And then what's after cricket? What's life after cricket look like for Henry David?
I'm so excited. Like I did study in my cricketing career, like the end of my career, basically, because I just found a niche of working with people, you know.
And you have that.
And I've always thought, like in the beginning, when you say, okay, no, cricket's my life. Obviously, the family comes in, and professionally wise, I've always said, look, there's something more important that I can add to environments or people, and that's, I went to study counselling and communication. So I've got my own business, HD19 sports counselling, specifically sport, you know, because look, if you go into the personal things of marriage counselling, that's a total different ballgame. specifically sports.
And somebody that's been through it, yeah.
Yeah. For me, that is something that I really, really enjoy. I've been working with a couple of golfers, a couple of cricketers as well, and just to see the difference and the value that you can add. So it is that I will be still involved with Titans with the development, because I think it's a big gap that needs to be filled.
Massive.
Especially like we lose experienced cricketers way too quickly, you know. I think that is why our cricket takes too long to be where it should be, because of all the experience that has been lost. So for me, just to give back to not our under 90 or not our second team, or obviously do help at the franchise level, provincial level now, but starting from under 13 to all of those levels. So it just gives them a quicker boost, if you can call that. So
100% foot up, yeah.
Yes, and then some private things that I'm busy with as well, and hopefully a lot of golf in between.
100%. I still think we need to do a golf show. We need to full on do a golf show.
Definitely. We spoke
because
about this before.
We have, but I think we got to do that. These aren't, would you believe, they're not actually golf balls. This is for the show. Thank you very much.
Definitely for the show.
For the garage, and it's definitely going up as well.
So I was thinking, like, what can I get Robbie? You know, and obviously we do play with Strixon balls, which are very nice balls. So I thought I can't bring him balls because
I've got.
It's got, but there is a relation with the balls as well.
Okay.
Just the different ones. So then I went into my cricket bag, which is going to be tucked away in the garage.
Oh, beautiful!
And I got.
That's it.
It is washed. It is a bit stained,
but it's a clean one. It's a clean
one.
It was a stressful few games, those, that you played in there.
Look at this. Is for all cricket watchers out there. This is
everyone knows.
You do need one of these.
Yeah.
Of course, it does hurt.
It's a helmet for the real head. Yes, protect that thing.
And
well, thank you very much. I'm gonna touch the top of it. There we go. Look at that. There we go. Signed by Henry Davids, eh?
And there's some character in it as well.
I'm gonna keep these. I'll take it out the box later, but maybe I'll wash it again as well. Henry, thank you very much for coming on the show. I appreciate it. You are a very good friend. You are an incredible cricketer. Good luck for life after cricket, but it's great to know that you're still going to be with the Titans and still be involved with cricket, because I think grassroots and young oaks, and I mean that's the most important part. To the family, send my regards and all the best. And thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Robbie. Thanks for having me.
That's episode 3 wrapped up with Mr. Henry Davids. Go and follow what he's doing. Henry Davids 19 on most social media.
19, yeah.
HD 19. That's how he rolls. It's got a nice little picture thingy logo, whatever. That's the end of the show. I'm not plastic.
Hi, I'm Henry Davids and I'm not plastic.
Give us a big smile. Brilliant thing.
We're very excited about a company that we collaborate with, Food 2050. You might ask yourself, you know, what are we doing and I'm not plastic? What roads are we following? What avenues are we following to try and make the world better? This is one of them. Fred from 2050. Fred, welcome to the show. It's good to have you on the Aerobic Crew show. But tell me a bit more about Food 2050. Who are you guys?
Thank you, Robbie. It's nice to be on the show. It's a privilege for us to be part of it. Food 2050, as the name would suggest, has a lot to do with food. And you'd be surprised to know or become familiar with a couple of facts. One is that in South Africa, we consume about 30 million tons of food per annum. The other part is that we only physically utilize 20 million tons. So 10 million tons goes to waste. It's food that we never see. It's produced by the farmers. It basically goes, let's talk about the 10 million tons.
Where does all of that 10 million tons go?
5 million tons just ends up on the farms itself. And then the rest is about 4.5 million tons per annum. That goes to waste from the farm to the point of consumer. And then us as consumers, we waste about 0.5 million tons. So 5% of the total is wasted domestically.
And so what's the big problem? What made you guys decide, well, this is something that we need to do? Food 2050 is a company we need to start, and why? Food
2050 is a company that basically comes from a solution viewpoint. We looked at the food cycle and we realized that there are a couple of problems associated. One, you know, the wastage. It's something that you're not going to address overnight. And the second part, which is crucial, is what people does with that 10 million tons. You could take 10 million tons and put it into landfill sites, and that creates a huge problem, and I'll explain that. If you look at carbon dioxide as a greenhouse gas as compared to methane, methane is 86 times worse, a global warmer, compared to CO2. And when you do anaerobic composting,
is that what the food becomes, is the methane gas?
In landfill sites, that's what it becomes. It's basically an organic compound, so it's a CHO.
Fred, so what is the difference between anaerobic and aerobic, just to explain to somebody that doesn't understand?
Okay, so anaerobic is basically composting as we know it. Put it in an environment that doesn't have enough oxygen, it's not enhanced by temperature or any influence by man. It's an uncontrolled environment and process. And generally speaking, as material then decompose, it would, due to a lack of oxygen, some of the carbons will bind with hydrogen instead of forming CO2 and water, like in aerobic composting. So anaerobic causes methane as one of the byproducts, or of gases. Aerobic composting causes CO2 and H2O, which is the kind of greenhouse gas. Yeah. And the other one is the unkind by 86-fold. That is the difference. It's a huge difference, and I think that is the crux of the matter. It's not about whether it's compostable or whether it's not compostable. It's how you compost it. Is it under controlled environment, and does it use oxygen and temperature and mixing and some inputs to it? Is it controlled or is it uncontrolled? And that is the difference. It's a huge difference.
So if I were to say this cup is compostable, fully compostable, there it says it there, 100% plant-based, and it's compostable. If I give this to you, can we put it in the Food 2050 machine, and then what happens?
Absolutely. We have done a test before, and we can do so again. So literally within 24 hours, our machine would then fully digest this cup. You won't see any part of it. It will become compost, a very real compost that you can use. You can plant tomatoes in it, and obviously it's a very strong concentrated matter which you have to dilute with soil and so forth. You have to do a bit of preparation, but it's going back to nature as it should.
Into nature.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's what we've taken out, human nature. What we've taken out, we're now putting back, and we're putting it back in a positive way, and not just a negative landfill way. So,
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I'm going to give you these cups. We finish with them now, and next week we are going to be growing some coriander in them. Watch the space. So in 2 weeks' time, I want you to come back. I'm inviting you back, Fred, because Food 2050, we love what you guys are doing, and it's amazing to be a part of what you guys are busy with. So this is a great platform to do it on, and we look forward to it.
Thank you so much, Robbie.